The area in which we live has been influenced by a multitude of forces, including nature, prehistoric people and animals, people from other lands, weather, wars, and technological advances. Our families and generations before us all have been profoundly affected by events that occurred long ago.
Hey, I can't talk right now. I'm in a shoot. Something about the history of Northern Kentucky. It's pretty amazing, actually. Did you know? Gotta go. Hey, what's up? Jake, say hi to the people.
I'm taking lunch.
Hold on there, cowboy. We've got a lot to tell these people. Let me show them how our magic studio works.
Most scientists worldwide believe that nearly 500 million years ago, this area was covered by a vast body of water called the Ordovician Sea. Over time, this sea receded, but its presence is preserved in the sedimentary rocks and salt deposits it created. Glaciers from the Ice Age also reshaped the land, leading to the formation of the single most important geologic feature of the region, the Ohio River.
Hey, Jake. Do you know why you're eating just maybe the reason you're standing here today?
My pretzel?
Not the pretzel, the salt.
Salt?
That's right. Our good friend, sodium chloride. Salt deposits from the Ordovician Sea brought prehistoric animals like the woolly mammoth and saber-toothed cat to this area, which in turn brought American Indians who hunted them for food.
Woolly mammoth? What do they look like?
Like that? Sit! Let me pull up a movie.
Salt outcroppings such as Big Bone Lick attracted mammals like the woolly mammoth to the area. American Indians migrated here to hunt these and other animals, and they created settlements along rivers and near salt licks. Fossilized remains of these animals were discovered by European explorers in 1739 and later collected by many famous people, including Thomas Jefferson and Benjamin Franklin. Some of the trails created by these prehistoric animals eventually turned into dusty roads and even modern thoroughfares, like the Dixie Highway. Many of the first settlers, often Revolutionary War veterans, made their way to this area on flatboats. These boats could only easily travel downstream, however, so at the completion of their journey, most were disassembled and used as wood for cabins.
Flatboats also transported crops and other goods downriver to New Orleans.
But by 1850, steamboats became the desired means of river transportation.
Cincinnati and northern Kentucky prospered as river traffic increased, and the Ohio River created a natural boundary between the North and the South. During the Civil War, Confederate troops moved as far north as Florence, but turned back after sensing strong Union opposition. In reality, this area was not a Union stronghold, but the troops that were here were cleverly positioned in encampments on ridges to give the illusion of strength. That's why we call this the siege that never occurred.
Hey, did you know that the Kentucky cities, Fort Thomas, Fort Wright, and Fort Mitchell, all started as Civil War forts?
No. But I do know that the first bridge to span the Ohio River, the Roebling Suspension Bridge, opened just after the Civil War ended. And John Roebling used it as his prototype for the Brooklyn Bridge in New York City. Bridges enabled north-south commerce to flourish. More were built, and actually some just for railroads.
Transportation was instrumental in bringing new people to the Ohio Valley, including European immigrants. These immigrants brought with them their language, culture, music, art, and industries like brewing, winemaking, pork processing, machine tools, glass and furniture making, steel manufacturing, and many others. These industries helped change the region from an agrarian farm-based economy to an industrial power and helped the river cities grow.
Some of the festivals and celebrations these immigrants brought from their homeland are even celebrated here today. Streetcars enabled people to visit other neighboring cities and local attractions like the Latonia Racetrack, Ludlow Lagoon, and the Ohio River beaches at Bellevue and Dayton. Although the Ohio and Licking rivers have greatly influenced the settlement and growth of the area, Mother Nature didn't always cooperate.
In 1881, the mighty Ohio River was reduced to nearly a stream after years of drought and was only 2 feet deep in sections. It took years for river commerce to recover. The blizzard of 1918 froze the river, completely stopping river traffic. This event marked the beginning of the end of the steamboat era for commerce. And in 1937, torrential rains created the highest river level, 79.9 feet. And this great flood left 50,000 people homeless and put about half the river cities underwater. This severely damaged the streetcar lines, and although they lingered on through World War II, the streetcar industry was never the same again, eventually giving way to the rise of diesel-powered buses.
Fortunately, a series of levees, flood walls, and pumping stations have been built over the years, and it's practically impossible for flooding to damage our major communities ever again.
That's reassuring.
Yeah.
Like many urban areas, much of our industry was focused on the war effort during World War II. Soon after its end, automobiles became a way of life for most Americans, and this new mode of transportation visibly changed the cityscape and outlying areas forever. Many industries moved out of the cities to cheaper rural areas, and people followed, fundamentally changing the rural and urban areas of the Ohio Valley. New highways were constructed during this time to enable this migration.
Hey, Amy, did you know that the interstate highway system was originally built as a civil defense system to allow quick evacuation of our cities?
That's right. And some interstates were built through the country where no roads existed, while others were built through entire neighborhoods.
And as travel by automobile became easier, travel by air began to take off. Now let's go to our field reporter, Trey, for his report.
Thanks, Jake. Cincinnati's Lunken Airport was at one time the main airfield in the region, but its close proximity to the Ohio River made it susceptible to flooding and fog. This created the need for a larger, more efficient airport, and in 1942, a plateau in Boone County was selected as the site for the Greater Cincinnati Airport. CVG, as it came to be known, now services thousands of travelers a day who fly to all 50 states and many countries around the world. This is Trey. Back to you.
Thanks, Trey. Jake, do you know what created that big flat area in Boone County?
That big glacier from the Ice Age?
You got it.
Many people and events have shaped the region which we call home.
And some of these events happened long before any people moved here.
Although we may not be familiar with all the names that influenced our history, there are some people you might recognize. Check this out.
Well-known Kentuckians from this area include William Goebel, Frank Duveneck, Ma Green, Brent Spence, Sean Alexander, Jacob Price, Louise Southgate, John G. Carlisle, Haven Gillespie, Rosemary Clooney, and her nephew, George Clooney, to name a few. And I'm Nick Clooney. The Behringer-Crawford Museum is a center for the collection, presentation, study, and enjoyment of our natural, cultural, and visual and performing arts heritage. Continue your journey exploring the fascinating people, events, and forces of nature that created and shaped the place you and I call home.